Hey folks, my name is Lauren Boswell. I'm the Director of Entrepreneurship here at the Metropolitan Business League. So I have the pleasure of working with Sharon and her Capital Access Hub. The Metropolitan Business League here in Richmond, Virginia, started over 50 years ago by Black businessmen here in Richmond that were looking for procurement opportunities and looking to integrate the procurement and with the large businesses that we have here in Richmond. Since those beginnings, we have grown. We now welcome and represent, advocate for, and support small businesses across the state, regardless of religion, race, or other identifying factors. So we are home to all sorts of small businesses that are really looking at our mission to help them become successful. So we are here to guide, connect, and succeed with our small business owners and entrepreneurs. We do that through 4 or 5 organizations at this moment. So we have our Capital Access Hub that Sharon spoke to us about. We have our Metropolitan Business League Foundation, and that houses all of our youth entrepreneurship programs, which we will talk about how those fit into our ecosystem here in Richmond. The MBL is expanding. So we have an office in Petersburg, Virginia, and I'll talk about our other office that opened last week. And then, of course, we have our Young Professional Board, the Bridge. They are with us as the Metropolitan Business League to help us guide and connect with young entrepreneurs in the city of Richmond. Next slide, please. This is our MBL executive team. Like Sharon mentioned, our CEO and president is Floyd E. Miller II. The reason I'm showing you our team, you can go on to the next slide, is because there are so many of us. And so we are here to support your small businesses in Virginia. Our team has worlds worth of banking experience, bookkeeping, program development, fundraising, and just are really most, if not all of our staff are small business owners themselves. So we really try to create an organization that not just reflects what our entrepreneurs need, but also support entrepreneurs with entrepreneurs in leadership positions that have, that experience to really be able to help them. Next slide. I am so excited to announce that we have had our grand opening and ribbon cutting in Brunswick, Virginia. So that is south of Richmond. Brunswick County, Virginia is our newest location. This is a rural area, much similar to Petersburg, but even more rural than that. And I bring that up because the Metropolitan Business League is looking at ways that we support all business owners, all small business owners in the state of Virginia. We have some very rich, historical, beautiful counties in Virginia that do have wonderful main streets that are coming alive again. And we want to make sure that our small business owners are aware of that and they're involved, and they're going to folks like Sharon to get that capital access, to understand what they can do to bring new things to our communities, especially our rural communities that have seen so much disinvestment. So we have just opened our office in Lawrenceville, Virginia, that's in Brunswick County. We are also looking at office space in the Tidewater area. So we are just really trying to ensure that spirit of the Metropolitan Business League that was born so many years ago continues now into the future. Next slide, please. So I want to get into some of our educational programs that we would love you all to be a part of, love you all to emulate. We need more opportunities like this for our small business owners. So our first one is the RVA Link Up Expo. This really is a nod to where the MBL started in terms of our focus on procurement and making sure that our small business owners do have access to those large contracts, which are capital. So our RVA Link Up Expo, we bring together all of our sponsors, all large corporations, law firms, construction firms, universities and colleges to come together and meet our members, meet other small businesses in Richmond, and find those connection points. Most of our small business owners, they are looking at smaller contracts, smaller bids. We have, a plethora of caterers that are looking to get into the door for those large corporate events that we have so many of in Richmond. So it runs the gamut of what our members are bringing for these large business owners, but we are infinitely grateful for those sponsorships and that partnership to make sure our entrepreneurs have access to that form of capital. Next slide. These are two of our membership events. So when you become a member of the Metropolitan Business League, we have monthly educational events. These are scheduled once a month, but our topics come from the needs of our membership. So as you all know, ChatGPT has kind of taken over our businesses and our education system in terms of what it does. And how it provides and saves time for entrepreneurs. And so we are having one of our board members come in and really discuss how we can use ChatGPT for business optimization. And then we also have the same events in our Petersburg office and will eventually in both Lawrenceville and Tidewater. We have Empower Hour in Petersburg, which is the same principle, is that our members come together. In talking with them, we understand what their needs are and bring those presentations to them. Next slide. In light of COVID, when all things went online, we are still keeping up with our small business webinar series. Most of these are provided by our membership. Our membership and our members have businesses across the spectrum of expertise. And so we really encourage our members to engage with us in that way as a guest speaker. We like to make it easy and convenient for them. So while we do have our in-person educational experiences, we also are still providing that online. And we are also able to record these webinars and put them on our members only section of our website for our members to be able to access them. So later on, for this particular webinar, it is being offered to us by one of our members 4 times this year. So it's a great way for us to just stay in touch with our members while they're still, running through the city and getting their business done, but they can still listen in on our webinars that we offer. Next slide. When we are thinking about working with entrepreneurs, especially in an organization like ours, it's really important to be able to offer experiences that range from the beginning of starting up an organization to looking at it sunsetting, closing, or selling it. This is one example of a program that's brought to us in partnership with Virginia Asset Management and VCU, and really talking to our small business owners are like, great, you've started your business, your accounts are up and running, you're paying your taxes, and then what happens? What happens when you're ready to sunset, you're ready to sell? When should you start preparing for those types of conversations, which any entrepreneurship consultant would tell you as soon as you start the business, you need to be thinking about and preparing for closing it. So we do offer programming, not just for our startups and folks in that ideate stage of developing an enterprise, but also for our small business owners that have been around for a long time and are looking for their next step. Next slide, please. This is another example of the way that we engage with our members. Down in Petersburg, we have a member share. This is when we just get our members to come together and tell us what's on their mind in terms of what resources they need. Maybe it's a newspaper article and they have more questions about what this means for business in their area. Just a place to come and discuss what small business owners need, want, have heard about, want to see if it's happening in other cities or other places. And so we really value this time with our members so we can take that back and create programming that really speaks to what they need here in Central Virginia. Next slide. We also have a really unique program here at the Metropolitan Business League. We call it our Coffee and Conversations, but these are conversations with practitioners and small business owners that are interested in understanding the intersectionality of entrepreneurship and folks with different abilities or disabilities. We want to make sure that we are always being equitable, open, and inclusive, and we want our members to have that same mindset when they are thinking about building wealth for their communities and their families. So through our Coffee and Conversations program, we bring in experts that talk to our small business owners about what it takes to make your company opening and welcome to folks that have disabilities. What does it mean for the way your building is set up? How do you handle meetings? What are your policies and procedures? During these coffees and conversations, we also have people come in and tell us about programs. There are programs across the state and the country that will support small business owners in making their place of work more accessible. And that's not just talking about accessibility in forms of physical accessibility, what we normally think of as ramps or elevators. We're talking about like day-to-day interactions that your customers have with your staff, and are you creating an environment that is safe to do so and that is supportive. So we're really excited about this series. It'll go through this year with a partnership with VCU School of Education, but also Richmond Public Schools, Bon Secours, and many others that come together to help us kind of raise this niche issue that not a lot of folks are talking about, but a lot of small business owners are interested in learning. You know, I'm a special organization. I'm a small business. How can I also reach out to those that may be marginalized in the business world to come in and build that generational wealth through entrepreneurship? Next slide, please. The MBL is really excited to become an affiliate of the Kauffman Fast Track Entrepreneurship Program. The Fast Track program is out of the Kauffman Foundation. The Kauffman Foundation, along with the National League of Cities and the City of Richmond, have come together to provide this 10-week course for our members. This is a research-based course. It's used all over the world. It is absolutely fantastic and 100% comprehensive. We are hosting 3 cohorts of this entrepreneurship program this year. This is ideally for entrepreneurs in that startup phase that either just have an idea, or maybe they're 1 to 2 years into having their small business, but are looking to refine and kind of move themselves forward. So right now we have over 30 participants in the Richmond Kauffman Fast Track program. I think Petersburg is well over 10. As we kind of pull together entrepreneurs that just need that almost like a college course, that weekly engagement as they're moving through the process of creating that business plan, creating that pitch, understanding your pricing, understand your marketing channels. So it's an all-inclusive program. It does end in a pitch competition. And we're just really excited to have staff members trained on this platform and are able to provide it 3 times this year in Richmond and Petersburg. Next slide, please. We also have a veterans program for veterans that do live in Central Virginia. Virginia has 2 kind of business service organizations for veterans. One is located in Northern Virginia. One is in the Tidewater, Hampton Roads area. So this was something that Richmond was lacking in terms of a place that veterans could go and still be tapped into those resources that are, you know, traditionally housed in Northern Virginia or Tidewater, and bring them and collect them and get them together and on the same page here in Central Virginia. So we have a great partnership with the Virginia Department of Veteran Services. They are extremely supportive of this program because it allows them to engage with veterans in Richmond around entrepreneurship. So this year we have 7 veteran entrepreneurs that are going through a 6-month program, starting up their business or refining one they have. And so we are just really excited here in Central Virginia, where we do have a lot of military installations, that we can kind of reach out to this community in that way, and create a safe space for them to come and learn from entrepreneurs that also served, have mentors and coaches that served, and really talk about that transition from military service into business ownership. Next slide. Now we get to the fun stuff. We have a very large youth entrepreneurship program. It's one of our most robust programmatic areas. And this just comes from a strong mission of, if we are to have opportunities of equity in the economy around small business ownership, it starts with our kiddos. So we have, these are 2 examples of the events that we work with our young entrepreneurs here in Richmond Public Schools and Petersburg as well. And so one example is this Jazz and Food Festival. We were able to secure vending tables for our entrepreneurs in middle and high school who are at that stage of vending at different fairs and towns and concerts around. And then we also have our Biz Tech. So this is in partnership with our Capital One Coders and our Boys and Girls Club, just exposing children to the type of skills that they can employ, they can use, they can grow and expand on, that will lead to entrepreneurship. So definitely check out our website if you have young entrepreneurs in your family and in Central Virginia. It's a very robust program that'll allow your kids to learn what our adults are learning in our adult programs. However, this starts at a much younger age. So we're really, really proud of our Young Entrepreneurs program, and definitely encourage you all to check those brilliant minds out. Next slide, please. Now we're getting into our networking piece. This is huge for our businesses here in Central Virginia. We believe that networking opens doors to all types of opportunities. These are two of our signature events, our Remarkable Women's Luncheon. On the right, we have the one for Petersburg, and on the left is our luncheon that we had in Richmond. These are really beautiful moments in women in entrepreneurship to come together, fellowship together, laugh together, talk about the challenges of being an entrepreneur, talk about and see the successes that other women in the area have had. We always bring in a guest speaker to talk about health, as that is so important when we're thinking about entrepreneurship and all the other things that come along with running, a business. We do have to tap in with our health. And so we make sure that our women's luncheon really speaks to our women entrepreneurs, creates a space where they can come together and learn from each other, and make those connections that are so important when you're advancing your business. Next slide. We also have a Women Who Means Business Summit. This year it will be October 27th, 2023. Registration is open now. This, similarly to our Remarkable Luncheon, our Remarkable Women's Luncheon series, this event is for women entrepreneurs. It is a whole day of workshops and exhibitors. And so we really encourage anyone who is a small business owner, who wants to be one, or is just interested in what this world's about and what it means to be a woman entrepreneur. Please join us. We will have folks talking about everything from franchising to sunsetting businesses. So it's a great opportunity to meet and interface with women that have done this work and been successful. Next slide. We have something for the gentlemen entrepreneurs as well. This year we had our incredible men's breakfast. It was presented by Truist Bank here in Richmond. This was a breakfast followed by a golf tournament to raise money for our Young Entrepreneurs program. This year we had two local folks, but on a national stage, come and speak to us. Kim Greenidge, who is the Regional Vice President here of NBC 12 in Richmond, CW, and the General Manager. Tony Brothers, who is an official in the NBA, but he also owns a restaurant in Virginia. So we always try to bring in entrepreneurs that are local here. They are family names that we know and have heard, but have roots in Virginia, started a business here, and are willing to come back and mentor and guide our entrepreneurs today. Next slide, please. More fun. We do have happy hours in the summer, again, in that vein of networking and connecting folks to people. Because of our strong partnerships, we always have our corporate leaders come out. We always have large business owners, small business owners, our youth to come out and really enjoy the summer together and network. We always try to highlight our members at these events, whether it's through food or photography or the location. And so these do take place in the summer. On the left, we have our happy hour for the young professionals. And then on the right is our an example of one of our happy hours in Petersburg, down at our City Point Center. Next slide, please. this is something that our organization is very excited to have. So our very own Shelby Brown, who's on staff here at the Metropolitan Business League, she has partnered up with our good friend Barry Farmer over at the Barry Farmer Morning Show. His radio show does have channels across the country, and so he is allowing our members to come on and do spotlights, highlights of their products, and giving them that national presence. This has been transformational for our small business owners that do have a product that could go nationally. It's not a local product, but it's something that they do want to get the word out about. And this is a good place to test that, to go down to the radio, to see what that's like, and to see kind of how that mass marketing works. So it's a great hands-on opportunity for our members. We're so grateful for the Barry Farmer Morning Show and for Shelby Brown making those connections, because it allows our small business owners to see what this could be if you took your product national or did advertising in another city similar to Richmond, where your product might also be a success. So that is a new offering we have for our membership, and we've just seen great results, both the learning from the entrepreneur, but also in kind of getting their message out to a national target audience. Next slide. So that is our presentation. I am so happy to have been here today with Sharon and Awesta to talk about building capital access in Virginia and the types of resources that we have here at the Metropolitan Business League and beyond. So this has been great. I appreciate the time to let you all know about the MBL. If you would like to contact me, it's lboswell@thembl.org. And please check out our website for more information on any of those things that we've discussed today.